Hello everybody, sorry we can't be with you for the end of term. Got a short story for you and then a song which I hope you enjoy. So the story is about 3 trees growing on the top of a hill, and as young trees they would talk about what they wanted to be when they grew up. And the first tree really wanted to be a great big treasure chest and hold all the most precious things of the world. And the second tree wanted to be a mighty ship and carry all the important people and all the greatest kings and queens that there ever were. The third tree didn't want to be cut down, wanted to live forever and wanted to grow really, really tall, so that when people saw this tree they would be looking up at the heavens and be reminded of God and God's love. And so these 3 trees kept on growing until they were all quite big, and then one day 3 woodcutters came up the hill and they saw these 3 trees, and the first tree was cut down and taken, and the second tree was cut down and taken, and the third tree, feeling a bit nervous, was thinking, please don't cut me down, I want to live forever. But the third woodcutter did cut down that tree and it was taken away too. And the first tree wasn't made into a treasure chest, but was made into a box of animal feed, a box for feeding animals. And the second tree wasn't made into a mighty ship, but was made into a simple fishing boat. And the third tree was just cut up into planks and left in a timber yard for years. And they soon forgot about their dreams and just carried on with what they had been made into. Until, not that long after, a couple came into the stable where the animal food box was, and the lady had a baby. And she put her baby into the animal food box because there wasn't anywhere else to put him to sleep. And the tree remembered its dream and realised it was holding the greatest treasure the world had ever known. And then, a few years later, the little fishing boat was borrowed by a group of friends who went out onto the lake, and they were caught in a storm. And one man who had been asleep through this storm woke up and said, peace, and the storm stopped, and the ship realised that it was carrying the greatest king there ever was. And not long after that, the planks were taken from the timber yard and they were formed into a cross, the cross on which Jesus died. And then that tree realised that it was pointing to heaven, and whenever anybody looked at it, that they would think of God and God's love. Whatever your dreams are for your future, God doesn't promise that it will be easy, doesn't promise that it will always be what we expect, but does promise that He loves us and will always be with us. He says to us not to be afraid and promises that God will always be near. And we're going to sing a song for you now that says exactly that.